F.G. Krogan, attorney at law. I'm here to tell
Wow,
you that
you know,
if you've been injured at work,
it's really unfortunate how often you see something like
walking
this.
down the street,
No,
in your
not another
car,
darn local
in your
lawyer looking to
sleep,
sink his
or
teeth
you're
into your recent
entitled to
mishaps or
some money,
misfortunes,
and money is
but this
coming to
god-awful
you.
background behind the snake. I mean, come on. Looks as though someone had the right intention to flood this guy with some nice soft light, but turning on every light he had and flooding the whole scene is just a mistake. That background clouds the message, no matter how bad that might be. Well, something's got to be done about the attention, or lack thereof, when it comes to lighting up backgrounds for a talking head, or for product shots for that matter.
So that settles it. This week, I'll shed, well, just the right amount of light on lighting up backgrounds, and how paying attention to just some simple techniques can improve the look of your shots, no matter who your talent is. Now, backgrounds and backdrops come in all sorts of materials and colors, from your thick gray muslins, like this, to your cheap pieces of cloth, like so, to a roll of paper, well, to even a spare wall. All of these can be used successfully in all of your productions. Well, for me, if it's a talking head or even a product shot, I prefer to use the cloth type. It just seems to take light a little bit better in my opinion, and I can shape light on one of these a little bit easier. Not to mention, if you've got a background like this with some, various shades of gray spray painted into it, it's gonna render colors a lot richer than if I were to say, take a light and attach a gel to it and just splash it on a white wall. And this brings me to another point. If you're shooting out of a studio or a garage or whatever the case is, and you have a spare wall, do yourself a favor and paint it gray. You're gonna be happy that you did. You see, white is naturally reflective and just doesn't soak up the light, where gray is neutral in color. So, with an arsenal of gels in your bag, that wall can be any color you want. Now, for our purposes today, I'm going to use a gray muslin, just like the one that was used in that commercial with our lawyer friend, wrinkles and all. Now, wrinkles are okay in my opinion. They can add a little bit of texture when the background's thrown out of focus, or if you light it right. But if we light this thing up with every light in our arsenal, well, this cloth is going to show every little nook and cranny that it possesses, and that's not good. Now, I've also chosen a space in my studio here that's going to allow me to get a little separation from the subject to the background, meaning I can get about 10 feet from the subject to the backdrop. And this is good, because this allows me to light in layers.
Here you can see in this model designed after my physique that lighting in layers essentially will help your subject to pop. By tackling the background and lighting it separately from our talent, we can dial in the exact intensity of our light and also control it from spilling onto our talent, and vice versa for our subject. When we light him, we can focus on just lighting him and control the spill from our lights so it doesn't affect our pretty little background.
All right, for this entire setup, I'm only going to use 2 lights. This 1000-watt guy here for the key, you can probably guess what I'm attached to the front of this thing, and the 300-watt guy for the background. Now, I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. One, it's for those of you thinking, well, I can't do what he does because I don't have a bunch of lights. And 2, well, it's because I have a bunch of lights, it's important that you see how sometimes, less is more. So no more excuses. Go buy a couple of lights. Okay. Attached to this C-stand here, I have my 300-watt lamp. Now, if you're wondering why I use a lower wattage lamp for the background than what I do on my subject, well, it's mainly because a background needs to know its place in your composition. You see, the background is there to either support or help your subject to pop out, because your subject is the most important part of your composition. So by using a lower wattage lamp, I don't run the risk of overpowering my subject. All right, so also attached to this lamp, I have a set of barn doors. Now, these just help me shape the light that's emitted from this lamp. I can kind of pinch these down and create a really cool shaft of light. Let's take a look.
So instead of letting light just spill all over our background, we could pinch these barn doors down and shape the light for a dramatic shaft of light effect.
Okay, so for my key, I'm gonna use this 1,000-watt lamp housed in a softbox. We've all seen me use this before. And over yonder, we've got a hunk of foam core that's gonna act as my fill. I've just got it off to the opposite side of the key, and it'll just help to fill in some of the shadows on that other side. We've all seen me use this before as well. What we haven't seen me use is a reflector. Now I've got this with the gold side facing out. And what I'm gonna do is mount this just above and behind my subject's head to just kind of act as a little hairlight. And it's gonna be subtle, but since I'm only using 2 lights and they're all both being used up for the background and the key light, well, I'm gonna take what I can get. So let's get this into place and check it out. Well, now that everything's pretty much in place, we've got our 300-watt guy back here with the barn doors pinched down, creating a shaft of light on our gray muslin background. We've got our 1,000-watt light housed in a softbox acting as our key, and our double whack pack here of reflection materials, 1 gold reflector for the hair and our white card for the fill. It's all in place. Now the only thing left to do is to bring in our subject and reenact this commercial. Let's take a look.
Because here at Krogan & Sons, you have a right to the money that you deserve, and we deserve the right to the money that's yours. I'm actually a Krogan attorney at law. Because at Krogan & Sons, we care.
All right, let's recap, shall we? All right, first off, we need to get our gray muslin backdrop into place. Excellent, like so. Good, and then our for our background light, our 300-watt little guy with the barn doors pinched to make that cool shaft of light. And for our key, our 1,000-watt light housed in a softbox. And we're gonna go ahead and get this gold reflector up to act as kind of a subtle hair light since I'm only using 2 lights. And we'll go ahead and use foam core for the bounce. And that's looking pretty good. Get the overhead lights off and...
Hi there, I'm Max G. Krogan, attorney at law.
Well, there you go. By keeping it simple and lighting in layers, you can give your clients a more professional look, and your viewers won't cringe at your images. Well, that's about it for this week. Thanks a lot for watching. Good luck.
You're entitled to some money, and here, oh, God, I'm an idiot. Oi.